Hi guys. Hello everybody. I'm sorry. I propped my phone up. I thought I'd be cute and sit. On the floor. That doesn't make any sense. I thought I would sit in a different spot, sit on the floor today, but I propped my phone up on the windowsill and it was on the charger and then it was a little bit too high and I wasn't ready to start, but that's okay because you guys know me by now and we're going to go with this. I know I just recently made a video, but I got out of work a little bit early today, and I was going to go work out. My usual class at the gym is at 4:15. I work from 8 to 4, and then I can go right to the gym. But I don't feel, it's such a gorgeous day out today, and I don't feel like waiting until 4 o'clock. So I was like, I'm going to do, and the workout is all conditioning tonight. It's all cardio stuff. And I can alter it and do it on my own outside and enjoy the weather. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I thought about it. I was like, I want to stop in and make a video. Hey, Susie, sweetheart. I know I usually don't make videos at this time. Sometimes I get more interaction when I do them in the afternoon. Sometimes I get, why did my Facebook just notified me that I'm on the live video. You guys, am I on the SPWF page? That would be good to know. Or am I on my personal page? Susie, did this come up as Strong Prison Wives or did this come up as Row? Because if it came up as Row, we're going to hop off and then come back on Strong Prison Wives, the right page, because that's where all of our membership is, not on my personal account. So Susie or whoever else hopped on, I can't see anybody else. Facebook isn't showing me who else is on. Just do me a favor and give me some emojis if I'm on the SPWF page, or write in the comments. That would probably be the easiest, and let me know that I'm on the correct page, and then we will go from there. So Susie, can you just hit emojis if I'm on the SPWF page, or comment and let me know that I'm on the SPWF page? I would appreciate that. In the meantime, I'm going to take a sip of water. Usually I drink 4 of these a day, and I'm usually on number 3 by now. This is number 2. So I'm kind of thirsty. Thanks, Sarah. I didn't see, that's so weird. I didn't see that you hopped on, but I could see that comment, so I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, really quick, while we're waiting for anybody else to hop on. Hi, Maureen. Let me introduce myself. Let me give you my thought of the day, and then we're going to go into a Q&A. Oh, thank you for the emojis. Thank you, guys. Maybe they're coming to me late. Maybe it's my internet connection. It's always something with me, but we'll go with it. So my name is Ro. I am the founder of SPWF, and I use my years of experience to help loved ones of the incarcerated get out, I'm so a mess today. I helped loved ones of the incarcerated feel encouraged, empowered, supported, educated, and helped not only during the duration of the sentence while their loved one is gone, but well beyond when he gets home, so he can get out and say out. You could beat the statistics, and you can use the tools that I pass along to you and all of the exercises and techniques to live a fulfilled, constructive life and put this in the rear view. So really quick, here's my thought of the day. And you guys, feel free to comment where you're from, interact with each other in the comments if you want while I'm speaking. Feel free to ask me questions. That's why I changed from videos that I was editing to live videos, because I got the most feedback that people were appreciated that they could comment and interact with me in real time. So before I hopped on here, I was eating lunch, and I was on my Instagram, my personal Instagram page, and I do a lot of stuff with the wellness community. I'm like my other passion besides for SPWF is health and wellness and fitness and all that stuff. So I was clicking through Instagram stories. I like to do that on lunch sometimes, just to kind of numb out, see what's going on, learn some stuff. And there's this really adorable couple who posted a video. It was 20 minutes long. It linked to their YouTube page. And it was about just their love story. They were so cute. They're hysterical together. And it had me thinking that I wonder how many of you guys get sad, get depressed if watching something along those lines, a love story, a couple holding hands, a video like that where it's a couple interacting in each other's lives, if that sends you spiraling down a deep, dark hole. And as I was watching this, I'm thinking, love that I'm at the point where I can watch this and be genuinely happy and ecstatic for this couple. I get to enjoy their love story by proxy, and I love that I could pass along that to you guys, because it wasn't always that I could do that. I was very often at weddings and bust out into tears. Very often, I mean, still sometimes I'll see a couple and I'm like, when's it going to be my turn? Why not me? So that was my thought in the moment as I was eating, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go on video and I'm going to pass that along. And then after the very end of this 20-minute video that I was loving, they put a quote, and it was, I wish I could remember it verbatim, but I don't, but it was something along the lines of like, changing the world with an abundance of love, or something like that. And all of a sudden, whoof, it was waterworks, like major meltdown. Partly because it was so beautiful, partly because I got sad for a second, and then I was like, I was just gonna make a video on how this doesn't bother me, and I'm here bothered. But know that, so the message to pass along to you guys is that majority of the time, I want you to find happiness for that couple, because when you put that out there, that's going to come back to you. And you want to dwell on the positive stuff. You don't want to dwell on the lack of him not being there. You don't want to dwell on the fact that he was taken away from you, a lot of times unjustly taken away from you. A lot of times there's just so much sadness and depression around our life and our lifestyle. I want you to start grasping and focusing on all of the positive stuff and putting that out there, and that's what you put your energy and attention on, and that's what will come back to you. And I'm not saying that in like a university woo-woo way. I'm saying that more in a psychologically, you see a shiny red car on the street, you buy a shiny red car. I mean, you see no shiny red cars on the street. You buy a shiny red sports car, and all of a sudden that's all you see on the street. It's just because that's what your mind focuses on. And I'll get into that another time. I actually wrote a lot about that kind of phenomenon in the book that I have that's coming out soon, that I keep teasing you about forever because it's not ready yet. But yes, you guys, I am home from work. I got home early today. They had a company barbecue, and they let us leave early, thank God, because there was nothing at the barbecue that I eat. Anyway, so I'm kind of babbling, hopefully not babbling. You guys, just a minute. This is like real live video because I'm sitting on a pillow because I can't sit on the wood floor. Old lady sciatica problems. It's actually a gym injury, so we'll go with young lady in the gym lifting a lot of weight instead of old lady sciatica problems. But okay, commercial break over. So I got this question that I wanted to read to you guys. Now, disclaimer, usually I read the questions I get, I collect my thoughts, I write them all out so that I'm prepared for these videos. I did not have time to do that. Figured, let me get on a video while I have time. Let's just work through it together. So I'm not prepared. I might trip over my words. I might say a lot. We might be good with it. Who knows? But we're going to do this in real time. And you guys can help me answer for this SPWF that wrote in the question, because I don't have anything prepared. So you could trigger my thoughts with your comments. Feel free to comment with advice. Really quick, I just want to read Marina's comment. Oh, Kat, thank you. When I see a couple enjoying one another, it makes me happy inside. But my mind starts with crazy thoughts and questions. Being reality, I'm happy for the couple. Great advice. So I think that that's probably what happened to me, and what happens with most of us is that you're genuinely happy for the couple, but then all of a sudden it triggers this, oh my God, I'm depressed, and you kind of can get lost in that if you allow yourself. So don't beat yourself up for the normal feeling of, I'm so happy for that couple. Oh my God, that's not what I have. That's normal. That's real life. Of course that could trigger something sad in you. The trick of it is what Marina said beautifully, is pulling yourself out of that really quick. So as soon as you have that I'm really depressed and I'm whack thought, counter it with, but they're so beautiful. And I talked about this on a video recently. It takes some practice doing that, because especially when you're in the newer stages of this, and you're going through those stages of grief, because as prison wives and family members, we go through a grieving process. Although a lot of people might say to you, and you might even think, what do you mean? Nobody died. Well, grieving is around a loss. A major form of grieving is a loss to death, but that doesn't mean the only loss that you could grieve. My mother is going through a major grieving process right now because she lost her health. We go through, as prison wives, major grieving processes because we lost our loved ones. Either they were ripped out of our lives, or for my members that met their loved one while they were already inside, or were reunited with their loved one while they were already inside, you're grieving the life that you want and wish that you have. So don't let anybody tell you that it's not fair for you to grieve, because you're grieving, and we go through those stages of grief just like anybody else experiencing grief due to any loss in their life. So why did I just get down the grieving road? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm all over the place. Let me just read the comment again. Oh yeah, so don't beat yourself up for feeling those sad feelings. It takes a while, especially if you're in those early stages of grief, to be able to pull yourself out of it, because you're still angry. You're still very, very, very depressed. You're grappling with all the emotions and figuring out your new life as it looks right now around the situation and the confines of your new relationship. So, or at least the new version of even an old relationship. So the more you do it, the faster you'll be able to counter those thoughts. In the beginning, I would be down and out. I would see something like that. I would get invited to a wedding. I would have anxiety up until the wedding. At the wedding, I would cry. After the wedding, I'd get down. It would last a week or so, maybe 2. I'd probably get in a fight with Adam about it, because I would not want to tell him how I was feeling, which is stuff that I learned throughout the years, and I've passed along to you guys in so many videos, so many blog posts. But then I would get in a fight with him because I was hiding that, and it was just this horrible mess. Now I can counter it. I can get over it. You know, if it lasts a day or 2, I'll lean on one of my SPWF sisters or a few to get me out of that, to pull me up out of it. Hence another reason why SPWF was born, so you have those support sisters and brothers to pull you out of those moods, and then I move on. But no, it's normal. Just like at the end of that video, I was like, I want Adam home. But then I was like, oh, they're a beautiful couple. Okay, moving on. I have a wedding in August for my husband's cousin. I want to rent a date. Oh my God, that made me laugh so hard. Dare you? So here's the video. Oh, and if you rent a date, let us know. Even if you don't, just let us, even if you were just joking, which I know you were, let us know how it goes. I'm in a fresh relationship and struggling with embracing my decision to be with a man in prison. I'm embarrassed. He's not a bad person, but I can't stop thinking about public perception and my family. You guys, really quick, before I continue reading this, I asked you to comment and help me advise this person with your opinion, but please know that this woman was extremely vulnerable in writing this out, and it can be embarrassing, and it can be scary to pass your thoughts along to somebody. So if you're going to write a comment and help advise this woman, I just ask that you refrain from being judgmental and that you really choose your words wisely. You don't have to agree with what she says, and you can give some tough love, but make sure you're doing it from a place of kindness and not from a place of attack. Okay, so let's keep going. He's not a bad person. I can't stop thinking about public perception and my family. I always worry that he could be using me. My fear is being one of those low self-esteem girls that gets mistreated by a man in prison. So far, he hasn't exhibited any signs of a user. He's not asked me for a penny and doesn't mention money. In fact, somehow he has his own... Oh, I'm not going to read that. I have no clue how. This is why I should pre-screen the questions. Otherwise, he's very thoughtful and romantic. He's sweeter than any man I've ever dated without being cheesy or seeming fraudulent. My own insecurities are affecting this relationship. How can I talk myself out of these fears? And then she put a part 2. I had another part to my question. I'm in an MWI situation, which for those of you that don't know, MWI means met while incarcerated. So she met him while he was already in prison. And I watched a video of you mentioning the importance of knowing what they were charged under. I'm able to Google him and get info on his charges as well as his sentence, but I have not done a full background check. I plan to. My question is it possible for someone to have been sentenced to a large amount of years, but tell me he's getting out sooner than that? Or is that false hope to get me to stick around? What he is saying and his sentence doesn't add up to me. Okay, there are so many parts to this question. There are so many parts to part 1 of this question, and then there's also part 2. So let's see how long part 1 takes to talk through, and then we can always come back for part 2 if this is getting too long, because of course I babbled already. So, gosh, I see so many facets of this. So as far as struggling to embrace your decision to be with a man in prison, I think a lot of us a lot of us go through that period, whether it be to stay with somebody, if you were already together, MBI, we call it, met before he went inside, or if you decided to get into this relationship after. I know a lot of our MWI or even reunited WI sisters and brothers struggle with this more. And I actually know, which is so sad for me to have to say, that there's a lot of battles between the two groups, which is sad because we're a group that is non-traditional, non-conventional, and we feel like the world fights against us. So there is no need for us to fight amongst each other within our group that already gets so much judgment and so much hate, and there's so much stigma around people in our position. Thought for another time, thought that's been discussed before. But I think what you're saying here, sweetheart, is that you're struggling with your decision of being with a man in prison because honestly, who cares what other people think? And sometimes the judgment that we get back from people is something that we see within ourselves and that we're struggling within ourselves being projected back to us. Again, not getting woo-woo, that is psychology. Let me explain. So for many years, I was a National Physique Committee fitness competitor. So what I had to do was I would get in really, really, really good shape. I would diet really strictly down to a very low body fat percentage. And then I would do this like harshly and strictly, and only in 12 weeks, I would go from like 20% body fat down to 8 to 10% body fat, which is horribly, horribly unhealthy for a woman. But at the time I didn't know that, or to stay there long term, which I never did. So, and I was really good at what I did, and I won all kinds of championships, but within the time between dieting down for a competition, being stage ready, which was 10% body fat, just said, you cannot maintain that or it's very unhealthy for you, especially for your reproductive system, okay? So then I would gain that weight back really quickly, and I would jump up 30 pounds to a normal weight, probably to where I am right now, and maybe a little bit less than where I am right now, but we'll go into that another time too. And in my head, I would feel like I was fat. In my head, I would feel like everybody was judging me. In my head, I didn't feel like I looked my best because I was always comparing myself back to the way that I looked at 10% body fat. And I would always get these comments from people, oh my God, what happened to you? You were so skinny. And I would shut down because they were almost validating the negative thoughts I had about myself. I would be like, oh my God, that lady's staring at my thick legs, that I put a lot of weight on my legs. She's staring at me. I'm not going to wear skirts. I'm not going to wear shorts. I'm not going to wear what I want to wear because I don't feel comfortable. That is all on me. That has nothing to do with other people. Obviously, if people make rude comments, you need to defend yourself and stick up for yourself, but you can defend yourself by using it as a teaching moment. So if somebody said to me, oh my God, you gained so much weight, what happened? Psychosomatic. Yes, exactly. I could say to them, it really wasn't healthy for me to be that lean. Actually, this is a normal, healthy body weight for me. I dieted down, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we shouldn't really body shame people because we have young girls coming up behind us that we need to teach it doesn't matter what their body fat percentage is. It's about being confident and it's about being healthy, not about being skinny or fat. I could have used it as an opportunity to teach. Same thing, sweetheart, with your situation and what you're saying about public perception about being in this type of relationship. Nobody gets a say as to who you date, as to who you marry, unless it's somebody that is super close to you, like a family member or a best friend who is saying it out of love and protection. And even then, you can say to her, listen, I appreciate what you're saying. I am not going to fight with you because I know it's coming from a place of love. I know that this can seem taboo. I know that this could be considered extreme or anything of those sorts, but I'm an adult and I weighed my option, and there really isn't much that you can tell me that I haven't already thought about 1,000 times over. But I'm a grown-up and I'm going to make my decision, and I hope that you support me. And if you can't support me, then we're going to agree to disagree. That's how you can handle a family member. But somebody from the outside that I'm just going to reread your words specifically in this question. Public perception from them and your family. Somebody who's not your family or your best friend doesn't get to say. First of all, you don't need to go outside and scream it to the neighborhood that you're dating somebody in prison. Like, I wouldn't walk into work. Let's say I was in a normal, I shouldn't say it like that. Let's say I was in an outside relationship. You know, Adam was never locked up. I meet him one day in a bar or at church or wherever people meet, and I wouldn't walk into my work one day and be like, guys, guess what? I'm in a relationship. We met on Match.com. You don't need to justify yourself, your relationship. You don't need to tell people who you're dating. It's not something that needs to come up. If somebody asks and you feel like you would like to speak about it, that's one thing. If somebody asks and you don't want to talk about it, say that is personal, and I don't talk about my personal life at work with people that aren't close to me or whatever. You can use my famous strategy that I talk about all the time is everybody, except for prison wives, wants to talk about themselves all the time. So use that to your advantage. Oh yeah, I'm in a relationship. How about you? Tell me about you. How did you meet your spouse? Get them, flip it, deflect it, get them to start talking about themselves. Take the attention off of you if you're uncomfortable, and then most likely all you're gonna have to do is nod and do an I get it every once in a while, because people don't usually have a problem talking about themselves. So my answer to that about public perception is that I personally think that you are battling this and struggling with this because it's something that you're still struggling with and you're battling. So I want you to ask yourself, what is the best thing that can happen if I stay in this relationship and continue to pursue this relationship? What is the worst thing that can happen? What will I tell people? Be prepared. How am I going to talk about it when I am approached about this? Because every single one of us that's been in this type of a relationship has been approached about it. Now you get to decide. Are you going to be like my friend Lauren, who was very open about it, talked about it at work, used it as an opportunity to break stigma and teach people about it. And once she got people's ears and she defied the stigma and she didn't live up to their preconceived notions, she would kind of break them down and use it as an opportunity to educate them and to help them be less judgmental towards people in our shoes. People say the same thing about me when I break them down. However, although my face is plastered on this video and all the videos behind this one, I'm also very in the closet. I don't talk about it at work. I don't talk about it with extended family. I don't talk about it with brand new friends. It's just not me. So you need to choose prior to being in a situation where you will get caught off guard, how you're going to handle it. Prep yourself. Have a conversation with a trusted friend and have her kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not ad lib. Just role play with each other. Look in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself. Ask yourself questions. It does, thank you, Jenna, it works, because then you're going to be prepared in how to handle these things and not be what's that thing that my sisters do? Awkward turtle or whatever that thing is? Like I've been 500 times when I've been in that situation. So now, and if you guys have more advice, please comment. Sister who asked this question, if you have more questions that come up from this, feel free to comment. If you want to remain anonymous, feel free to email me again and we will talk through it. So her fear is being one of those low self-esteem girls who gets mistreated by a man in prison. Okay, so that's so sad to me, because first of all, that is, oh, sorry guys, sciatic. I just have to make sure I'm sitting the right way. That's how society has ingrained in our heads prison wives or family members or significant others of those that are incarcerated should be. You have to be insecure. You have to have no self-esteem. You have to be uneducated. You have to be living off of the system and refusing to work. You have to be ugly and desperate and never have gotten a date and whatever other stigma that fits to the people who want to judge us. That's so sad. And unfortunately, the media has not helped that situation whatsoever, because they put out shows like Love After Lockup. Could you hear my eye roll? Or they put out shows like that Prison Wife show from back in the day. And that's not how we all are. That's not how we all live. That is stuff that is either scripted, that is pulled apart on the cutting room floor, or those actors or possibly reality stars that star in those shows, I'm not bitter, they cherry pick the people that they put in those series. Now, there are a couple of series that I am actually working with because I being SPWF, so we are working with because we truly get behind their mission and the vision of their documentaries and the vision of the shows that they're putting out there and the networks that they're being put on. So I'm not saying that that's everybody out there, but what I'm saying is public perception usually happens, and we are perceived as these low self-esteem, insecure girls. So my question to you is, again, same thing I said in the first part. What in your life is making you feel like you're one of those low self-esteem girls? How can you build your self-confidence and feel comfortable moving forward in this relationship? What can you do to feel like you are 100% whole and supported on your own as a woman, as a beautiful, free, independent woman, and then you can give to a relationship, and then you can be fully supported and have full self-esteem and self-worth and your dignity, and then get into any relationship, whether it be the one you stay in with him or get into one with somebody else if this doesn't work out. But I need you to work on your own self-esteem first. And I do, again, I know I mentioned that book earlier. Those are not shameless plugs, you guys. It's not even close to being ready. My part, it's done. It's completely written. It's with the publisher, the illustrator, etc., etc. I'm actually trying to get the book, I'm getting donation. I'm trying to get the book sponsored and grants for the book so I can give it away for free to you guys versus selling it to you guys. So there's my big secret, is that I am not taking forever because it's not done. I'm not taking forever because I just want to talk about it and don't do it. It's been done for a really long time. I know my community and I want to help you as much as I can. So I'm trying to get the book published with investors versus with making my SPWF members pay for it. Surprise, I don't know if that actually is going to happen, but I'm trying, and I have the most amazing people in place who are trying to help me do that. Okay, side note. Oh my God, so many side notes today. Is this me procrastinating working out? No, I really actually want to today. Okay, so in that book that I'm talking about, that hopefully will be coming out soon, I have so many exercises for you to do just that, for you to feel so confident and secure in yourself that you can bring that into your relationship, and your relationship can withstand life on the inside and all the struggles that you face with him in there, but also life on the outside and all the struggles that you face with people judging you out here. So this was actually the perfect question for this. Maybe I need notes so I don't kind of go all over the map. Okay, next question. Okay, and the answer to this woman is not just the answer to this woman. The answer that I'm giving this woman, the questions that I just asked, if you want to rewind this video and write them down, about your self-esteem and how can you become confident, I want you guys to all answer those. And then once you get those answers, I want you to work towards becoming that. I want you to work towards setting goals to doing that, because that's what you need to do to get there. So you can't be like, oh, great advice, Ro, for this girl, and not do anything for yourself about it, because then that's just like, I once heard that called spiritual entertainment, which is great because it's better than negative entertainment, but you're not really helping yourself by just watching and not doing, which I fall into all the time. Okay. Basically, the next part of the question is, how does she know if he's using her or not, because she's MWI, and he hasn't asked her for money or anything like that yet, but she just wants to make sure that he's sincere. And my question to you, my answer to you is the answer that I've told everybody who's an MWI, and I've explained in a million videos before. It's that you're just going to have to let time tell. You're going to have to slowly play it by ear. So far, so good if he hasn't let off the bat with wanting money or wanting you to do things you don't necessarily want to do, making requests for you to contact other people, putting money in other people's bank accounts, bringing stuff in, God forbid, that kind of stuff. So far, so good. All of those things that I just said are absolute no's, red flags, run. But I think that you have to let time tell. I think you have to be on the defensive. I think you have to treat this like any other relationship. I mean, if I met a guy in a bar, on Match.com, at church, on the street, at work, I would feel the same way. Obviously, it's very different because we're not dealing with Boy Scouts or choir boys, but just keep your guard up, and slowly as time goes on, you'll be able to tell. My friend Joe preaches this all the time. I preach this all the time. Volunteers for SPWF preach this all the time. Women have intuition for a reason. Unfortunately, women disregard our intuition very often. Unfortunately, a lot of times we will make excuses or justify bad behavior and things we know are wrong and that go against our intuition because we're scared to stand up for ourselves, and we think, well, I'd rather be in any relationship than no relationship at all. No, if your intuition is telling you something's wrong, that is your gut screaming at you something is wrong. Pay attention to it. If you have a problem with anxiety, then slow down and try to figure out if it's anxiety or not. Lean on your sisters here. But nobody can tell you, yes, he's using you. We can tell you if he's asking you within the first month of you guys being in touch for all of this money, yes, run, sweetheart. But if it's a little bit more subtle, just pay attention to signs. Ask for things. Ask for help. If things aren't adding up, go with your gut. I can't tell you how you know if he's using you or not, but I think you'll know if he's using you or not. And in this type of situation, especially if he has a really long time ahead of him and you're putting your life on hold for a really long time and you didn't know him before, not that there is anything wrong with any of those factors, but I'm just saying that's a lot you have on hold and at stake. So make sure as you're investing more and more time into this and you're investing more and more emotion into this, that this is the right experience and he's not doing that. These guys can be slick, I am telling you, but go with your gut. I mean, the way that Adam and I knew each other before, but we lost touch for a whole chunk of years, and then we got back together. And we, on both ends, had to feel each other out. I mean, he didn't trust me right off the bat or my intentions right off the bat. I didn't trust him right off the bat or his intentions right off the bat. But it's been so long, and thank God, we connected and we opened up and we do not lie to each other. I fact-checked him over and over and over again. Now, I mean, he says something, no problem. Whatever you need, whatever I need, etc. He does for me, I do for him, because we've developed that relationship. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that all comes with time. Joe said, if it doesn't feel right, it isn't. Your gut knows things your heart doesn't. Love it. Tina said, I also feel guilty that I don't have pictures of him on social media and I don't speak about our relationship with acquaintances. He's an amazing boyfriend to me and I feel he doesn't deserve that. Tina, I've had this conversation with my husband, because I'm so in the closet as well. Here's the thing. He doesn't get to tell you how you live your life on the outside. I don't get to tell him how he should handle prison politics on the inside. I do what I have to do to survive out here. He does what he has to do to survive in there. So, I mean, and I'm not saying that in any way of betraying your relationship and like the values that you have between you guys, but don't feel like you're betraying him or feel guilty because you're not posting those pictures so you don't lose your job or have to deal with questions or don't want to deal with questions. Who cares? I have nothing attached to him on my personal work stuff, on my personal, like I have an Instagram account that I use for fitness. He is not on there whatsoever. So please, figure out a way. Here's a question for you. How can you let go of that guilt? What is that guilt stemming to? And what can you do to move past it? All it took for me was a conversation with him and he's like, no, are you kidding? Do what you need to do. I don't care. There's that. I know that there's a third part to this question. My doorbell just rang. I hope it's a package that was lost in the mail that's been going back and forth forever, and it's medication for my mom. Of all things to lose, right? You can lose all that crap I order off of Amazon. So I'm going to run downstairs. I'm going to cut this one off and we will come back. Ash, I haven't seen you forever, honey. We will come back and do the second part of that later on this week, okay? You guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another on this journey. You're one day closer to it all being behind you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I will see you beautiful brothers and sisters in the next one. Bye.